And I also want to thank Milena and Radio Mango for giving us all the opportunity to explore and discover our roots from the Konkan coast. Excuse me, I do need glasses now, so I'll be peering over these glasses and talking to you. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Lizette, and I'm going to be doing a food demonstration for you today. I've never done this before, so bear with me if I have a brain freeze or I stumble, but I guarantee you at the end of this we'll have a green coriander chutney, and I'll have some samples for everybody to enjoy. Okay, so hang in there. The reason I chose this particular recipe, because it is very personal to me. I grew up in my early years in East Africa, but I've pretty much grown up in Canada. My mom brought with her all her recipes and her love of Goa and the love of the Goan cuisine, and we were very fortunate to eat these foods in the house. My memories of the coriander chutney is always in sandwiches. I think that's the way Goans enjoy it the most. Now, thinking of chutney sandwiches brings a warm and fuzzy feeling to my heart and to my mind, because they remind me of my childhood days and my mother's love and preparation in making this chutney. These sandwiches were always there when we traveled. I'm sure a lot of you have these memories. When we went to picnics, and also, to date myself, when we went to the drive-in theaters. Anyone even know where the drive-in theater is over here? Okay. Anyone still go to one? Okay, good. Yay. All right. So traditionally, this recipe was done. It may have been more labor-intensive because this instrument over here is a coconut scraper. So coconut is one of the main ingredients in a coriander chutney. This instrument here was one of your main appliances in the Goan house. Does anyone recognize it? Show me with a show of hands. All right. You would get a coconut, husk it, break it, keep the water, fight over the coconut water, maybe use it in a recipe or drink it, and then grate the coconut. This part over here is where you would hold the coconut and grate it. I tried many times, I couldn't do it. My mother used to sit on this would come out, she would straddle this and grate her coconuts here in Canada. This came all the way originally from India to Africa, and then from Africa to Canada, because she would not leave it behind. And my dad promised he would make a stool for her here in Canada, which he did. Okay, this, just as a note, this appliance, when I say it was the main kitchen appliance, this is a blade on which you scaled your fish, you cut your fish, your meat, your vegetables, everything came off this, and you were really skilled. I can tell you that, because I have not been able to handle this, okay? The other thing is, this whole recipe would be made on a grinding stone, okay? So, some of you may be familiar with a grinding stone. It's not this small. It is a huge stone with a hole in the middle. This piece over here is a heavyweight, okay? You would not drop it on yourself. You would get hurt. And it was an art again to grind it. Today we can do this very simply in the kitchen. I have a bachelor here who wants to prepare it himself. And a few years ago, I wanted to pick up where my mother left off and be able to prepare these recipes for my children and do it with ease and know that it wasn't a difficult procedure. And I wanted to encourage my children who are here, my husband Kevin, my daughter Emerald, her boyfriend Tim, and my daughter-in-law Ganit, okay? My son is at a bachelor party. So I wanted them to enjoy, not only enjoy the foods, but to feel comfortable that they could go into the kitchen and prepare a lot of the tastes that they were used to, the grandmother making and their mother making. Okay, so we're ready to go. Today we're going to use a blender. I have also done this recipe in my magic bullet, so if you have one, it's very simple. The ingredients we're going to use today, because we're not going to sit and break a coconut, we're going to use unsweetened, fine desiccated coconut. Okay, you can get that in any bulk barn. You can get it in your grocery store, in the baking section, but remember it has to be unsweetened. Okay, you're going to use a bunch of coriander, one bunch. If you need measurements and you're that type of person, you know, but once you're all done, it'll come to a little more than 2 cups. Okay? If you have more, don't worry. If you have a little less, do not worry. I'm going to talk about the cilantro. It's also called cilantro or coriander. You can get, I don't know if I said this, but you can get this in a lot of grocery stores and in Indian stores as well. I know that a lot of Goans, and you can correct me because I know there's a lot of experts in here who probably make this wonderfully, but I used to watch my mother take the leaves off the coriander off this plant and use only the leaves. Through my research, and I found that in the Western cuisine, you do not need to throw away your stems. There's a lot of flavor in the stems, there's a lot of nutrition in the stems, and when you blend it in, when you blend down your chutney, you don't even, it comes out perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your coriander and cut off that much. That's all you're going to put away. Okay? The rest you are going to use in your chutney. Okay, we're also going to use 1 green chili or to taste. To make this recipe simple, and because I had to carry produce, I'm just going to use a green chili paste from the Indian store. Okay, you can use a fresh green chili. You can omit it if you do not like heat, but you can put a little bit or more if you like it hot. We're going to use 1 medium onion. I know this looks a little large, but I'm going to use the whole thing. We're going to use 1/2 inch of ginger root and about 4 cloves of garlic. The only powdered ingredients you're going to use: 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seed. You can use the powdered version. You can put it the whole because you're going to blend it or grind it down. I just used the powdered version. 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 lime, fresh lime squeezed. Now traditionally this recipe, I think as John said, would probably use tamarind. I'm not used to using tamarind, and I love the taste of lime. But the other reason I use lime is that when you're finished, you get a rich green color. That brown, by keeping away the brown color of the tamarind, your final product looks rich and green and bright. Okay? Now, this recipe, you've heard the word green. It's a green recipe. It's totally plant-based. It is not only vegetarian, but it is vegan. And if you are planning on or thinking of cutting back on the amount of meat you are eating, this is a perfect introduction to your diet. For those of us, and I know we have at least one vegan in the crowd, if you are struggling with getting protein into your diet because you've given up a lot of the meats, you can add 1/2 cup of ground almonds or cashew nuts to your chutney. Okay? That is not traditional. It does not take away from the taste, but it adds a protein base to those of us who are changing our diets. Okay? Or who have children. A lot of us have children or family members that have become vegetarian. This helps. All right, so let's go. If we're ready to start, I'm going to call upon a helper, and I'm going to call upon the bachelor over here who has said to me he wants to leave knowing how to make. Okay, what's your name? Hi, Paul. Okay.
Thank you.
You're going to need your hands free.
Start gasoline.
I'm a little bossy. Yeah, what you got? Okay, because all the food we're handling today is raw. There's nothing going to be cooked. So always remember, wash your hands before you start. Okay, so we're going to use, I'm going to give you the cutting board and I'm going to give you lots of space. All right, here you go. So if you can chop that, peel it, chop it. Are you safe with a knife? Okay. Chop it roughly and throw it into this. We don't have anyone here between 9 and 10. They're all busy. Okay, while Paul is doing that, I'm going to get 1 cup of coconut ready. Yes, it is. It's 1 cup of desiccated coconut. I have some recipes here. I have about 20 to 30 printed recipes that you can take with you when I'm done. I also have a blog that's on there. And on the blog, the recipes are shown step by step. I couldn't do all that on 1 piece of paper, so you can always go on and see it. And like I said, I started that blog to keep recipes for my children. So anyone who wants to look at it or has not tried anything before, something you want to try, and if I have it, please look it up. It's simple. I've used simple ingredients and I've used simple cooking processes. Okay, so you can try something that you were always afraid to do before. Done? Okay, you know what? I'll bring this over to you. We're going to use about half an inch of ginger, okay? We're going to cut off the peel and chop it roughly and throw it in here. Usually I don't have a helper when I'm working. I'm left to my own devices. 4 cloves of garlic. I see that Paul's been working in the kitchen. I got that right? All right. Have you made chutney before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not as good as yours.
Oh, you haven't tasted mine yet. Okay. All right. Now when we do this, when this was done in the Goan kitchen on a grinding stone, there was no water added. But because we're using a blender, we have to use a bit of water. It's not a problem at all. Because we're using desiccated coconut, it pulls in all the liquid and it actually hydrates. At the end of the process, you will not miss your fresh grated coconuts. Okay? All right, so we're done with the garlic. We're going to put in our powdered spices. That is your half a teaspoon of cumin, your teaspoon of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon salt, okay, of salt, okay? All right, so now we are going to do the coriander. You're just going to chop that roughly and throw it in there. Okay, I've already washed it. Wash your coriander well because there's a little bit of dirt and mud in it, and the last thing you want to do is when you're eating your chutney to get a little bit of dirt between your teeth. Crunchy. It's an unwelcome crunch. Here's something else I I want to share with you. Through the years, especially for the younger people or people who don't know this, I was a little ignorant. Whenever I had to squeeze a lime, I would cut it and really physically try to get juice out of it. Never got all the juice out of it. I tried putting it in the microwave for a few seconds. Wasn't really happy with that. I tried rolling it before squeezing it. Never was happy. I found this gadget, which actually my husband introduced me to because he says that's what they use in India. I never saw it because I didn't grow up there. Once you get a good lime squeezer, you're going to be happy in the kitchen. Okay, so I would suggest, I don't have any connections with any company, but as a user, this is fantastic. It's a ceramic lime squeezer, and I've had it for years. It works wonderfully. Okay, we'll show you how to use it. Okay, so. So I said half a cup of water. I'm going to put in a quarter, and then I'm going to add more if I need it, okay? Gadget. Did you see how easy that works?
He's got good hand.
What's that?
He's got good hand.
Oh, exactly. Okay, now I have to tell you this because I did it the wrong way first. Okay, you do not put it in this way, even though you put it in. Okay. Seems simple, but I didn't know that. I was wondering why it wasn't squeezing. Okay. So here we go. You want to add a little bit of chili? Now, chili. How many? I usually put about half a teaspoon. When I'm making it and my daughter's eating it, I have to leave the chili out, okay? But, how much do you guys like in your chutney? Okay, so wait, okay, we're gonna put about 3/4 teaspoon. And then we're gonna put in our coconut. Okay, now, like I said, I usually use my magic bullet. It's small and hope it works. And that's it. Now that's the last thing. We just turn on our machine and we're going to have chutney in a bit. Part pushing it down to make sure it fries.
I'll be the mic holder.
For those who didn't hear me, the only frustrating part, it's not really, it's just a little bit of work. You're going to have to work that mix to the bottom so that it all grinds evenly.
That magic bullet is good. You have to do every time. I think because there's less water.
Okay, for those of you who are closer, you'll be able to see that the chutney is already forming. Okay, it's not a very long process. Grind down really well. Did you hear me?
And no water. No more water.
No more water. I actually used the whole, I put in the whole half cup of water I talked about. I used it. Continue, you know that it's done because it's soft enough to continue. And I'm just going to show you, if you want to come and have a look here, it's a nice bright green, okay? And that's the color I like for presentation. I can tell you that I always called on my mom to make my chutney sandwiches. I still believe she's the best, but I am now the mom that my kids call upon when they need chutney sandwiches or when they're hosting a party, and I feel really good, okay? So this is to all you young people out there, bachelors, single people, people who have left their families behind and are craving, something Goan and something familiar. It's very easy. Don't be scared. Go into the kitchen. There's a lot of ingredients here in Canada that are good, that can replace, a lot of, like I said, dried coconut instead of grating your coconut. You can keep that in the fridge if you have it, or the freezer, and use it anytime you want. You can use a garlic ginger paste from an Indian store. Have that in your house. You feel like something, you do not have your ingredients, use it by all means, okay? And like I said, today I used a green chili because when I stopped in to pick it up, they were all picked over, okay? So I just pulled out my paste from the fridge and brought it along to make this recipe. All right, that's it. If you have any questions. Okay, I also made you guys a little sample. I didn't know how many people there would be, so here we go. You want to put it on the table? I'll take it around. Okay, take it around. All right, enjoy. Okay, I have to warn you, this is a very mild version because my daughter's in the audience and I didn't know how many, I didn't know what a mixed crowd we would have, so it's very mild. I have to say, I've used basil on the sandwiches, so if you're a vegan, I don't know if that's okay for you. That's fine? All right.
Bacon?
Basil, instead of butter.
Yes.
It's a spread. And I have the recipes here. Like I said, my blog is on it. If you want to, if you're not familiar with a computer, get someone who is and look up the blog. All right, here we go.
I'm only helper. I didn't make chutney sandwiches. I'm only helper. Qualified helper.